God's holiness cannot coexist with evil, and thus he cannot dwell in its midst. When people embrace wickedness, his presence withdraws, not out of unwillingness to remain, but because sin creates a separation between humanity and the divine. This principle, seen throughout Scripture, underscores the incompatibility between God's purity and human corruption. From a historical and scientific perspective, humanity itself reflects a long journey of development. Homo sapiens evolved in Africa from Homo heidelbergensis and coexisted for thousands of years with Neanderthals in Europe and the Middle East, and possibly with Homo erectus in Asia and Homo floresiensis in Indonesia. Today, Homo sapiens are the sole surviving human species. The earliest human ancestors developed dark, melanin-rich skin to protect against the intense African sun. As populations migrated into less sunny regions, lighter skin gradually evolved to optimize vitamin D absorption. These adaptations show how environment, biology, and survival pressures shaped human development over time. Human behavior, however, is not solely a matter of biology but is profoundly influenced by culture, upbringing, religion, education, social norms, genetics, and personality. No two individuals are alike, and each person interprets life through a unique lens. Yet, within this diversity lies a common tendency, to divide the world into categories. One of the most powerful, and dangerous, forms of this is the us versus them mentality. The us versus them mindset categorizes people into in-groups, us, and out-groups, them, often elevating one while diminishing the other. Rooted in humanity's evolutionary need for belonging and survival, this pattern of thinking can be triggered by competition for resources or social pressures. Unfortunately, it often leads to stereotyping, discrimination, and conflict by fostering hostility and mistrust. In its most destructive forms, it has fueled prejudice, systemic injustice, and even genocide. This mentality oversimplifies the complexity of human relationships by reducing them to oppositions. It frames interactions as conflicts, scapegoats entire groups, and erases individual differences through sweeping generalizations. By dehumanizing others, empathy is diminished, aggression increases, and opportunities for cooperation collapse. Recognizing this tendency is crucial for cultivating understanding, compassion, and shared humanity. Social categorization, by race, religion, location, or social class, is a natural cognitive shortcut that helps the brain process complex social environments. However, when unchecked, these groupings can drive bias and subconscious discrimination. Instead of making decisions based on logic and fairness, individuals may rely on ingrained stereotypes, reinforcing cycles of exclusion and hostility. Breaking free from this requires deliberate thought, empathy, and intentional exposure to diverse perspectives. Another challenge to human flourishing arises when harmful behavior is tolerated or encouraged. A person who permits or shields another's destructive actions is often called an enabler. By making excuses, covering up consequences, or providing support that perpetuates the harm, enablers contribute to the continuation of negative behavior. Conversely, when someone actively provokes wrongdoing, it may be described as inciting, instigating, abetting, or egging on, depending on the context. Each of these reflects a form of complicity in destructive choices. In summary, both spiritual and social truths point to the same principle: evil and corruption erode life, whether through separation from God or through human division, conflict, and enabling harmful behavior. Yet, just as humanity has adapted and grown through history, individuals and societies can overcome destructive tendencies by pursuing holiness, fostering empathy, resisting divisive thinking, and cultivating responsibility. These choices not only strengthen the moral fabric of communities but also align people more closely with the divine design for flourishing and wholeness.